What's going on? Red Cup Talks. Holla at your boy. This is episode 5, season 3 of Red Cup Talks. And I'm glad that you came to tune in to me and my special guest, none other than business consultant, host, and founder of the Boss Experience. I'm talking about none other than Michele Davis. I need her to join. Thank you for joining me. I hope you got your red cup. Oh, she's in the building. Going to wait a little longer, and then I'm going to add you right after I give you a wonderful intro, and just wait a little longer. Hope you guys have your red cup. Whatever you have in it is your business. Tonight, this interview is sponsored by Taylorport. I hope you got yours. Maybe you got something a little harder. Fine. Share it in the chat. We're going to hop right on to it. So, Michele Davis is a business strategist and head of the Boss Experience podcast. She ventured into entrepreneurship, and we're going to talk more about her story. So let's welcome the one and only host of the Boss Experience, business consultant, entrepreneur, Michele Davis. Hold on one second. Oh, she's in the building.
Hey.
Oh, yes. Yes, back up in the building. How are you today?
I'm well. How are you?
I am great. I am awesome. And I'm thankful for allowing me to interview you, for you allowing me to interview you. Sorry, you got me all nervous. You got me all flustered. It's all good.
Oh, thank you for inviting me.
No problem. Anytime. I love the content that you put out. It's very informative. It can help many of us that watch my podcast and our guest. And I just had to, I was so nervous. I said, you know what, let me just shoot my shot. And luckily you said yes. So I am thankful. Again, I am so thankful.
Oh, thank you.
All right. So yes, let's hop right into the interview. Again, for those that want to know and learn more about you, first question is, who are you?
Well, I am a multifaceted woman. I have so many layers to me. I am not just a business strategist, but I'm a mother. I am a mom to a human and also a fur baby. And I am a person that's passionate about a lot of things, and I'm passionate about helping people. It's, kind of what I've done my whole life, is help people achieve things, achieve their dreams, achieve results. So I'm all about helping people whenever I can. So that in a nutshell is who I am.
So Michele A. Davis is a helper, right?
Yes.
Michele's a helper.
Not everybody can be helped, but
This is true. They got to receive the help first. This is very, very true. Very, very true. But you are a helper. And that is a rare commodity at times, because in this society that we are in, everyone's about go getting it. Nothing wrong with that. Sometimes you got to help those behind you and around you. And you are definitely doing so. Question number 2. What were some of the careers that you had before you ventured into the journey of entrepreneurship?
Great question. So I started off, first of all, entrepreneurship was never something I thought about. So I'm what you would consider a late blooming entrepreneur. And entrepreneurship wasn't something I thought about until later, I found my back up against the wall, so to speak. But I'll get into that later.
Okay.
I started, I went to college. I got a bachelor's degree in forensic psychology, a master's degree in public administration, because that was supposed to guarantee me, a job, right?
Job security.
Right. I was like a robot, just going on this path to get educated, get a job. That's what they teach us, right? There were no entrepreneurs really in my family. So,
Mm,
I never aspired to be an entrepreneur. I just kind of worked. I started off my career in nonprofit services.
mm,
And my first job was working as a case manager with formerly incarcerated individuals that were just kind of coming from, they were on parole, they had violated their parole, and they were just kind of, and then they went to jail, and then they were coming into this facility, and I was their case manager. That was my first professional position out of John Jay College of Criminal Justice, which is where I got my bachelor's from. And
nice.
then after that, I decided I was going to go get my master's. And this time I left New York, went off to New Mexico to do that. And
Okay.
then, you know, got my master's degree there, and then ended up doing a whole number of things, everything from grant writing to developing programs. And so,
Mm,
all for, nonprofit entities. I worked for probation, developing their programs
mm,
and doing quality assurance. And that is when you think about like, where does the ability to strategize come from? That's
yes.
really, yeah, that's kind of really where I started to strategize, because you're not like, everything is not just like straight on. You got to be able
Mm,
to problem solve. And you
yes.
got to be able to develop things. And that's when I really started developing those skills. And then I went on from, developing programs for probation to running a domestic violence shelter and crisis hotline. I did that in Los
Wow.
Angeles. And then I found myself working back to New York, came back to New York. And the last nonprofit position I had was I was a associate vice president for a
Mm,
nonprofit agency in New York, helping chronically ill individuals. And so that's kind of where I left off. And then I found myself at a crossroads with
mm,
that last position, because it wasn't a job where they were ever going to support me and give me what I
mm,
needed to succeed. As I had the title, but I didn't have the voice in the
mm,
organization. I didn't have the voice. I barely had a seat at the table.
mm,
And so here I was, this educated woman. I needed this job. And here I was, not even like, yeah, I have this title, but not, I couldn't do anything. And so
wow.
I ended up leaving that job. And I remember sitting in my living room one day, and I was just like, I'm going to start a business. I don't know where this came from. And I
Wow.
decided I was going to start a business. And I think, it wasn't so much that I wanted to start a business, but there were certain things that I wanted that, having a business afforded me, the opportunity to do. And that was to be able to not rely totally on a 9 to 5, because I did work outside my field after that.
Hmm.
So I just didn't want to rely on a 9 to 5 for my income, because at any time, this way you're like kind of trapped. Like so many other people, they hate their job, they're trapped, they don't have anything else down the pike, and
Hmm.
that's it. If you lose that job, that's it. So I think probably the greatest thing I was able to do is to learn the online world, and to
Mm,
learn how to navigate the online world, and to learn how to, package products up. I already knew how to develop programs, and that whole process, and getting into details about developing programs. And so that's how I
mm,
was able to eventually develop my own coaching program and coaching services, and help my clients do the same thing. And
nice.
I think that's where I ended up learning that skill, and also, putting myself in a position where I'm not totally reliant on one income. So that
Mm,
is my experience in a nutshell.
I see. And man, I definitely want to go back to school now. That is just amazing. You went from helping formerly incarcerated individuals, which is amazing in itself. Very uh, shows that you've have patience over the years. It's awesome,
Yes.
awesome, amazing. Work in the field of domestic violence and those that were victims of such, to then
Hmm.
start in writing grants, and then saying, you know what, I'm not being appreciated. Because so many people know they're not being appreciated, but stay in sticky situations, whether in a relationship or in business or your own career. And you pivoted. It's very important. Some people know what's wrong and they sit there for 25 plus years knowing that, you're not going to get support, knowing the BS of it all. But you said, no, I want to pivot and go into entrepreneurship. Man, so many people at home. Listen, follow her right now. That's just amazing. That's just amazing because so many people are stuck in situations. It may not just be in careers. It could also be in life, in relationships. But if you need an example, here she is. Someone that has pivoted and is doing well for herself and has a great podcast called The Boss Experience. And that's what makes you the boss.
Like my shirt, right?
I love it. I gotta get the merch.
Oh, yeah.
I'll figure it out. I gotta get the merch. So, question number 3: what are some things that you have accomplished that makes you a business strategist, or that would push you into business strategy and consulting?
I think one thing, throughout my whole career, what I've done is develop and strategize. I remember, doing everything from, developing a specialized court, working with 12 individuals around the table, developing this single specialized court. And that's all about strategy, even just being able to navigate those relationships. So I think it all started in my career. And then when I moved into entrepreneurship, it really came from really working with people, not just looking at the outcome, because you have some people they'll coach us, around a specific topic, but you ask them to talk about something else, they can't really do it. And then a strategist, on the other hand, and there's coaches that are strategists as well, but strategists, on the other hand, are like, you can have a business owner come to you and they're like, I'm not making sales, or I'm not getting clients in my business. What do I need to do? And a strategist can come in and look at that entire business and look at the opportunities that are missed, look at the gaps that are, occurring within the business, and kind of be able to advise from there. And a lot of coaches can't do that. And that's the difference between just someone who can come in and look at what strategy you need, and strategy is probably what stands between people being able to really do anything in their business, because they're so focused on the outcome. I'm going to do this. I'm going to do this. I'm going to do this. I want that 6 figures. I want this. I want that. It all starts with strategy. If you don't have a strategy, you don't have a marketing, strategy, you don't have like a business strategy, you don't have a business plan in most cases, like, how are you going to reach those 6 figures? And it's really all about the process that people kind of forget. They want to get to the outcome, and
Yes.
they want to skip over everything else in between. And once you know the process, and once you have a strategy, you can replicate that, no matter what it is that you start. And that's what people need to learn. So to answer your question about how did I become a strategist through practice, both, first starting off in my career, and then doing actual client work as an entrepreneur. Because people come out and they come out from, the sky, and they're talking about, oh, I'm a business strategist. You got to do the work. Got to do the work.
Yes, that is so true. You must do the work. Anyone that is like myself, trying to get themselves in shape, you don't want to say, hey, I want to get the 6-pack, and you eating Funyuns and all types of things. You go to the beach, body positivity. No, it's not going to work that way. You're gonna, so you got to work your way to that chisel, whatever it is that you're trying to be. And the same way applies in life and in business. So, man, wonderful. So you used the talent that you had from your career, and you said, you know what, I can do this for me. It's very what you just. I know you said you one day sat down and you realized I can do this for myself. What was there, something that made you do it, or was it just, you know what, I'm sick and tired? What was it?
I was in this highly, highly, highly toxic work environment. And I was
Mm.
working like 50-hour weeks, and like I would work 8 hours at the job and then come home and work again after dinner, till like midnight. And that's not sustainable. And these people did not appreciate that. There was no, I didn't get a raise for doing that. There was nothing that I received for, sacrificing my personal time. And
Yes.
so, so what I did is when I first started a business, I did not start off correctly. And I talk
Mm.
about this kind of all the time in my podcast. People tend to start off based on, trying to get coached by everybody on the internet. They're like, oh, I can be this. Oh, okay, let me try that. And then the next shiny object comes in front of them and they're like, oh, I'll try that. Oh, no, I'll try that. And so
Mm.
that is kind of how people start off. And the problem with starting off that way is it's not sustainable. You can't
Mm.
start off your business on a trend. You need to look within, figure out what is it within you, that what
Mm.
skills do you already possess, what are you interested in doing, because after all, you don't want to create another job for yourself, right, that you end up hating.
Yes.
Yeah,
Yes.
whatever it is you want it to, whatever you create, you want to be excited about it. And
Mm.
so and it needs to be something that you are actually skilled at doing. A lot of people are running around going crazy buying coaching programs, buying courses to
Mm.
learn a new skill without ever asking themselves what skills do they already possess that they could build a business around. Yeah. So, and
See.
there's nothing wrong with courses. There's nothing wrong with, coaching.
Mm-hmm.
But before you get to the point of purchasing anything, you need to do a deep dive into who you are. What do you
Mm.
enjoy doing? And a lot of people don't take the time to ever ask themselves what they enjoy doing.
Mm.
What do they actually experience that? And what I always, tell my clients is, you write a list, just like,
Mm.
you would create a resume when you're looking for a job, right?
Indeed.
Write a list of all the skills you have. What are things that people have told you that you're good at? What are things that, you have done over the years that and then you kind of narrow it down from there. You do a complete brain dump and write all these skills down, and the expertise, any knowledge that you have. Think about your experiences, that you have, and you write those down too. Maybe
Mm-hmm.
you're very good at networking, or maybe you're good at, helping people develop resumes. Maybe you're good at leadership, and you worked, so many years helping to develop other leaders in your job. Why can't you
Mm.
can transfer those skills as long as you enjoy it. Why not transfer those skills into an actual business for yourself? And so when I thought about it over the years, I was making people money. And, because, you're writing grants, you're bringing revenue in, right?
Mm-hmm.
You're keeping things running, you're keeping the lights on in these programs, you're helping them profit, you're helping them to be profitable. And
Yes.
so why not do that for yourself? Why not monetize your own skills and expertise instead of, you know, deciding for the rest of your life you're going to keep lending those out until next thing you know, you retire.
Mm-hmm.
And then you're trying to
Very true.
scramble around, yeah, trying to figure things out then.
Very, very true. Very,
Hmm.
very true. So you said, why not me? I've made
Yeah.
everyone money. I've made everyone, get a nice income. Why not myself? And that's very important when it comes to entrepreneurship, when it comes to pivoting into a new career, maybe, or a goal. Why
Um,
not yourself?
right. I just want to mention one other thing too. Like, so when you talk about starting backwards, when I first started off, I started off in MLM. And
You
like a lot of people do, and then I didn't, because I didn't know anything about business, so I didn't know
said
where to
M.
start.
You
MLM,
said NY.
MLM,
Okay.
multi-level marketing. So
Okay.
I was selling, this product, and I realized that I don't want to like reach out to my friends and family, to sell something, because I mean,
No.
the reality is your friends and family aren't necessarily your target market, right? Um,
Right.
and so I didn't learn until later that I really needed to focus within. But anyway, I started off selling, in the kind of the MLM industry. Quickly realized that wasn't, anything I wanted to do. I wanted to be in charge of my own brand, branding. I didn't know what that meant, what that was, but I didn't want
Mm-hmm.
to be so restricted. Getting permission to advertise in certain ways. I was like, that's not a business. And, so, because I
That's
didn't
very
feel
true.
free. I didn't feel free to do what I wanted to do. And then you had to, like, they wanted you on these calls all the time. I was like, no, I need to be in control of my time. That's why I'm looking to be an entrepreneur. And you would
Mm-hmm.
have to sell a lot and recruit a lot of people that actually make money in MLM. Then I went from that into, the drop shipping trend. And the problem with the drop shipping trend is it was just that a trend because with all of the courses they were selling, no one taught strategy. So they taught
Mm.
you to like put up a store, put a product up, run some ads, and when those kind of tactics kind of dried up, so did all those businesses that popped up because those people they were like they didn't have any
Day to
strategy
day,
behind
going
it.
tomorrow. Yeah.
Yeah, and they
Mm-hmm.
were following trends, and then eventually I moved into building websites, and that was kind of how I kind of transitioned to business strategy, business coaching, consulting. And as I was building websites, and it was a skill I already had from my nonprofit,
Nice.
strangely enough, because I would get
Nice.
into the things that nobody else wanted to do, all the tech stuff. Well, we don't want to do that. Okay, fine, I'll do it. So I took that skill with me
Wow.
into entrepreneurship and actually started a marketing agency.
Mm.
And we did, I had a team and we did social media management and website design. And so one of the things I realized and what caused me to pivot again was to realize the people that I was working with, because people spend a lot of time on these websites. They spend a lot of time developing and, getting logos and, you know, and those things are really, really important. But,
Yes.
focus on lead generation, focus on getting profitable. And so I ended up pivoting into coaching because a lot of the people I was building websites for didn't know what to do after that. They're like, okay, I
Mm.
got this website, but then, okay, what do I do next? How do I get my first client? Or how do I
Mm.
get clients consistently? And so
Mm.
that's why I was like, no, I'm not going to do website design anymore because that's not where people need help. And remember, I'm a helping person, right?
Yes, you are.
and
Yes, you are.
and so that's not where people need help. They need help really, you know, with the basics about getting their business started.
Mm. 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 That's interesting. So you started off. You always wanted to help. You always like helping people,
Hmm.
and then you went to college. You did your whole career, but you always the basics was helping people. And from helping people and knowing that you can help people, you mastered different skills, web design, uh, uh, offering help, strategy, consultant, and became who you are today and opened a business for yourself. So for those at home that are like, entrepreneurship is like, oh, no, I can't do it. It's for only a select few. No, it starts out with is something that you can do naturally and then you progressively get better at with the skills, information that you get, and you can be like Michelle Davis, the boss, the boss. But next question: what were some failures in your life that motivated you to become the person that you are today?
Business failures, or do you want me to go like,
You
yeah,
could do both: regular failures, everyday failures, business failures. What are some of the failures that, because someone at home has failed at something and feels
right.
like they're stupid or they're a failure, they don't know what they're doing. So let us know. What is it that motivated you to become the person that you are today?
When I first started my business, I had quite a few failures. And
Mm,
those failures stem from not knowing about business, not really following the right people, not buying the right courses or being mentored by the right people. So I failed a lot until,
mm,
and I didn't even know it was important, mentorship and coaching. I didn't realize that until later. And that's very, very important. And
mm,
so when I quickly realized, like, what I'm doing is not working, that was a game changer for me because then I'm like, okay, what I'm doing is not working. let me try and do something a little bit different. Let
Mm.
me, look at who I'm following. A lot of the people I'm following, you can't even find them anymore. you know, yeah,
Wow.
you can't even find them anymore because they,
Wow.
they ended up being like, their programs went under and, just
Mm.
all kind of craziness when I first, because when you first start off online, you really don't know who to follow. You don't know, who your mentor should be, and you don't know who's reputable. And it takes time to
Yes.
figure that out. And so
Yeah.
I ended up hopping into things that without really thinking through, just
Mm.
like the MLM, getting into MLM. Well, does it, without thinking, is this going to be, what is MLM really? Is
Yeah.
that something I'm going to enjoy? So I didn't do that in the beginning. So I failed miserably. But also, when I think about like, you know, not allowing myself to dream big, I consider that to kind of be
Mm.
a failure too early on, even like from the time I was younger. Like no one ever said, um, you could be something other than, going to college, doing this. And college is important. I want my kid to go to college. So if she sees this, I want you to go to college.
Yeah, let us go.
But I also I don't want her to be a robot. I want her to be
Mm.
able to see, that there's opportunities out there. And I felt like when I look back, I was actually a robot. And to me, that was a failure because I ended up kind of in, these different positions. And some of them I was really passionate about, and others I just kind of like, eventually I was like, okay, I can't do this anymore. And then finally, toward the end of my nonprofit career, I landed in that really toxic, um, work environment. And so not
Mm.
allowing myself to dream big, I think is not, doubting myself, putting limitations on
Wow.
myself. Because when people think about, whether they can be an entrepreneur, they act like it must be somebody else. I don't have what it takes. I don't have the
Yes.
skills. And, I doubted myself. I doubted
Mm.
myself. Yeah, I doubted myself tremendously. So,
Mm.
not allowing myself to dream big enough, but also not giving myself a chance to really think thoughtfully about what I was starting out in when I did start my business or started
Mm.
off with, entrepreneurial aspirations, I should say. Yeah.
No, that's key. That's key. Belief in yourself. It goes a
Mhm.
long way. Because some of us have the dream, we have the goal, we want the end result, but you have to, no matter what, believe in you. Because honestly, when you're going after your vision, not everyone can see it. So,
Mhm.
do you believe in your vision more when people are supporting you, or when people don't even believe in it or think you're seeing things, but it's your vision? So, it's wonderful. I hope someone at home was inspired by that and continues to believe in themselves. Uh, Next question. What pushed you from having, well, I think you covered this already, but just to reiterate, what pushed you from having a career to becoming an entrepreneur? I think you covered that earlier, but if you want to elaborate more on it, you're more than welcome to.
Basically not being valued in the workplace. You know, I think we all got kind of a reminder of that looking at the Supreme Court hearings over the last week.
Yes, yes,
Um,
indeed.
and a lot of us, while this was obviously a woman, going for, a very high stature
Hi.
within society, but a lot of us are treated like that in the workplace where
Mm-hmm.
we're just disregarded. We're not valued. And like I mentioned, I had this, in my last nonprofit position, I had this high position, but I didn't have a voice
Mm.
and I had no like authority. And
Mm.
it's like, you can't, like, what am I doing this for? What am I doing this for? If
Mm.
I'm not valued, I have no authority. And I just have this title that actually just means nothing because you keep reminding me that I don't have the authority and I don't have the voice or the seat at the table.
Mm.
So I think all of those things, including, you know, not, working all those hours, I was working 50-hour weeks and it's just like that's not sustainable, nor is that fair to anyone. Yeah, just
Not at
not for,
all.
yeah. So, yeah, it was crazy. So, so that's what led to me to say, let me try something different. And I had
Mm.
no idea what that was going to be. I had no idea what that was going to be. I had
Yeah.
no idea, and I wasn't prepared for entrepreneurship. When we talk about failing,
Mm.
I wasn't prepared for the ups and downs. I didn't know what to expect,
Mm.
and so yeah, it's not for the faint heart. You got to
Not at
really have
all.
heart going into business, because some people think that and I think they're being sold this misconception online. But
Hmm.
I'm gonna look. Yeah, I don't want to jump into any additional questions because I'm just
Oh,
talking.
it's all good. Go. I'll remix it as we go. Don't even worry about it. But
Yeah,
it's
yeah.
yeah. But it's crazy that you said you had a high position, yet you weren't supported. And a lot of us that um get these positions of power, or you're a manager, you're a supervisor, you're appointed, but you're not empowered. And
Hmm.
it's so many times, and you see it. It rubs a nerve when you see it live on TV. Like, I was there, But in all that, go after your goals, go after your dream. Don't let their position be your end all be all, but create a position for yourself. And very inspirational, very inspirational. So, next question: from your experience, what are some of the most biggest misconceptions about being an entrepreneur?
Oh, definitely people trying to get coached by every single person online. You cannot build a business downloading 50 free products that are sitting in your
Mm,
email that you're not opening. It's just not going to
mm,
work. You can't build a business that way. Because you have people,
yes.
they don't want to, they don't know they don't have a concept of investment, of what it
Mm,
means to invest in yourself and what it means to invest in your business. So they run around looking for all this free content, and free content only gets you so far. So
true.
you eventually, you're going to have to invest in yourself, and that's a big mistake that people make. Another big mistake that people make is, they're looking at the end game instead of the process. And if you can get the process
Mm,
down and you can develop the strategy, you can take that and do anything, build anything with it. Because
mm,
when you think about it, even, when you look at some of the big names that you follow online, have you ever taken the time to Google them and see, like, how did they start out? Like,
mhm,
and a lot of them didn't start off with the business model they have now. You'd be surprised when you Google your favorite, the people that you follow the most.
mhm,
And people get so caught up on, people that, that are very popular online, and they don't look at these individuals and really look at them deep and think about what is it that I want in my, what is it that I'm looking for in a mentor? And is this person
mm,
really it? And just because they have so many thousands of likes, that shouldn't be your determination for whether or not you want to work with that person. So that's another mistake that people make.
yes.
You really need to look deep into people and see what their background is. Are they associated with real people,
Mm,
that actually knew them, or they're actually connected to real people that know them in real life, or are they just a bunch of business people, like what's their background? So,
true.
yeah, so, and I mentioned the lack of strategy, not really taking the time to have a strategy, and not taking the time to plan out their business.
Mm,
And when you think about, like, you know, you don't just kind of wake up and say, "Oh, I'm gonna, like, get on social media and I'm gonna, that's how I'm gonna, like, get my next sale." And it's like, okay, what is your strategy? Will you do
mm,
lives? Are you going to post? Are you going to use influencers? Like, what is your strategy? It can't
yeah.
be just the post on your page and think that people are going to come.
Nope.
What is your content strategy? What is your, marketing strategy overall? Is it just going to be social media? Is it just going to be Instagram? People don't plan anything out and they wonder why they don't get results. So, yeah, those are just a few that come to mind of some of the
Mm,
mistakes and missteps that people make when they're trying to start a business. And also, they don't hire a coach. They don't invest in themselves. I think I mentioned that already, but they don't hire a coach, and they try and follow all these different people and get all these different strategies. And the next thing you know, their brain is so overwhelmed, they end up not implementing anything.
Yes, indeed. Yes, indeed.
Yeah.
Ouch, ouch, ouch. But no, you're right on. You are
Yeah.
right on. Would you say it's the misconception of self-made millionaire? Is that part of the problem?
Yes, and they hear, all this kind of like, oh, you're gonna make figures, but results aren't typical. That's the disclaimer that they'll have. But it was like, oh, you'll make six figures. So people join on to these things and they invest money in things just because they think they're gonna make six figures. And you really
Mm-hmm.
need to dig a little deeper. And you know what they say, you're supposed to you think about your why, but go 7 layers deep into your why. So the
Mm,
minute you think about your why, okay, so why did you start a business? Okay,
mm,
then why is it that you want that? Or,
mm.
and just go very deep into your why so you understand why you're
Yes.
doing something. Yeah. And
Mm,
people just jump on the bandwagon, whether it's, they want to start a business or they want to, Instagram. You don't even know if the people that you are trying to attract are on Instagram. So, have you sat and thought about where your target audience is?
mm,
you know,
mm.
because
It's true.
yeah,
It's true.
yeah. And what content are they interested in? What problems are you solving for them? And how can you convey that you're the solution in your content? So
Mm.
yeah, it's a lot happening when people think about, or don't think, about how they're going to show up in their business.
It's true. This is so true. Very, very true. I think we covered what made you pivot. What made you realize you were great at helping build businesses?
When I got results from my clients.
Mm,
So the greatest thing, and I think I mentioned this earlier, you got to do the work. Like a lot of people kind of come on the scene and they just want to like make money, make money, make money. Get results for your clients. The whole point of being in business is that you solve a problem. You solve a problem and you help people achieve a transformation. So get those things under your belt first. And then the business will come because then you'll start getting, testimonials. People will start, you want to be the go-to person when your clients, every time they need something. Because
mm,
if they start going to somebody else, then that means they weren't happy with you, right? You didn't get them the results that they wanted. So,
very true.
get your focus on getting your clients results, and
Mm,
then, that's going to be your indicator of success. Is what I'm doing replicable? Can I
mm,
replicate it with other clients? Is my system able to be replicated? Can I the same system that I use to help someone grow, this client A to grow, can I use that same system to help client B to grow? And that's where it comes into the strategy piece. It's really being able to look and see, what is my strategy? And
mm,
once you start getting results for your clients, that's when you can, say, I'm good at this.
mm, mm. Very, very true.
Yeah.
Not the applause of yourself, but the applause of others. Very important. Wow,
The
that's
others
that's
that
what
pay
makes
you.
that pays. You're very important. Make sure you
Yeah.
get paid. Yes, indeed. Yes, 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 yes. I love it. Uh, so next question: what inspired you to create a podcast called The Boss Experience?
Okay, yeah, that's an interesting one. So I think I've been wanting for years to create a podcast, and it just seemed overwhelming. The whole thought of it seemed overwhelming, and I'm like, I'm not going to do it. But really, what I did is I kind of sat down and I kind of thought, I want like a consistent system to get in front of people and to, to get in front of people and to talk about what I do and for it to be able to be multi-purpose. So when you think about a podcast, and you got to think about why you're starting it. Is it, audience growth? Is are you trying to like, is it for lead generation? What is it for? And, so I nailed down why I was starting a podcast, which was really, to have a way to really get in front of my clients. So for people to also get to know me. Because you see people,
Yes.
there's a lot of people on social media. Like there's nothing on the surface, people will look and it's like there's nothing special about Michele Davis. But if you tune into my podcast and you get to know
Yes.
me, it allows you to build a deeper connection with me. And so
Yes.
that was, my purpose to really, and to use that content to, repurpose it and, take that audio and, instead of shooting straight audio, let's do video and let's use
Yep.
that for YouTube and let's
Yep.
use it for, Instagram, Facebook.
Mhm.
And so that took care of the content creation problem too, because then everything you start creating from there is in sync.
Mm,
Yeah.
mm, mm,
So,
mm.
yeah, so I, and I like talking to people. So, the boss experience available on all on wherever you
All
have you.
platforms: YouTube,
Yes.
Spotify, Amazon.
Amazon
No,
Music, Amazon
Amazon
Music,
Music. Um,
Google.
Google. Just listen. Everywhere you think you can listen, she's there. She's there. I promise you.
Yeah.
You won't listen. I promise. She's there. She's there. Please continue. I'm
Yeah.
sorry.
So when you think about like your why you may want to start a podcast, so I hear a lot of people want, there's a lot of people that are popping up that are helping people start podcasts, and it really starts with your why is it you want to start it? Because it's a lot of work. Anything you start is going to be work. There's no free rides, and nothing is easy, and you have to be able to get people to that podcast once you get it launched, so people need to remember that, when they're thinking about building, they're thinking about creating and starting something new. But yeah, I started it as a couple of reasons: audience growth, and for my clients to connect with me and to get to know me, or prospective clients to get to know me and to really connect with me.
So you started to let people connect with you, and
Mm-hmm.
I mean, I've viewed many episodes, some episodes here and there, and I have enjoyed it because there are literally things that I think about, like how you LLC, how you do this, oh, and it's just tune into your podcast, and it's very informative, very professional, very just a great podcast, very great podcast. So follow her on all social media platforms. The Boss Experience. I'm gonna try to pin this. Yep, I'm gonna pin it right now. The Boss, Boss Experience, available on all social media outlets. Trust me, you will not be disappointed. If you love knowledge, holla at your girl. Holla at your girl.
One other thing I want to say too, the thing I think that makes the boss experience different than a lot of other business podcasts that you may come across
Mm.
is people like to look at business as, well, we're going to teach you sales funnels, we're going to teach you, marketing, and we're going to teach you all these things. And people forget that we're people. We're
Yes.
entrepreneurs, but we're also people, and we're
Mm.
people with pasts. We're people, with history. We're people that have been bruised and a little, may have felt a little broken at times. And there's mindset stuff going on that we may have, that we need to overcome, because unless you tackle those things head on,
Mm.
they're gonna come up in your business. There's gonna be times there's been times in my business that I was all, planned everything out, all set to start something. And then all of a sudden, something like a little voice was in my head, like, you can't do that.
Oh my
And
God.
it's,
Yes.
yeah,
Yes.
you can't do that.
Yes.
And it's like,
Yes.
I can't do that. I'm
Mhm.
terrified to do it. And so, when you're talking about building a business, you got to talk about all of those mindset struggles that you got
Mhm.
to deal with too, and you got to learn how to overcome them, because there's always going to be that little voice in your head, no matter how well you planned out something, how well you think you strategize. That voice that seeps in your head and tells you, that you can't do it, but you gotta overcome it. You gotta learn to be determined, and you gotta learn to, get that voice out of your head. Get it out of your head. So,
Yes.
when you check out the Boss Experience podcast, you're going to find that I don't just talk about funnels. Yes, we talk about business stuff, but I also talk about other things that we experience in our life. After all, um, we are people. So
Yes.
I've had episodes about trauma, episodes about anxiety. Because if you
Mm.
suffer with, if you struggle with those things prior to entrepreneurship,
Oh
just because
God.
you say you're going to start a business doesn't mean your trauma went away, doesn't mean your anxiety went away. You still need to know the business stuff, but you also need to know how are you going to overcome these other things as well.
Mm, listen, she said it here first. I mean, I know you said it here other places, but listen, check it out. The Boss Experience right now on all platforms. You will not be disappointed. It's very informative. What made you name your podcast The Boss Experience?
For that very reason, really, really to be truly reflective of what it means to be a boss, because people throw around that word like nothing. Everybody's a boss now. And it's more to being a boss than just the name. It's more than just a
Yes.
four-letter word. There's a lot that goes into it. And so the boss
Mm,
experience is all about the entrepreneur experience. And so everything you're going to go through, everything you're going to go through in your startup process, everything you're going to go through trying to, grow your business, the frustrations that you experience, all of that is the boss experience. And so that's
mm,
why I was like, that's the name. It needs to reflect the true experience of entrepreneurship. It's not all glamorous and six figures and, you know, people people got to get their mindset together and they really got to get focused. And so
mm,
it's about the true experience of entrepreneurship and everything that people go through. The mindset struggles, the self-esteem struggles, the confidence struggles, everything. In
mm.
addition to business advice.
That's right. That's right.
Yeah.
All in one, all inclusive boss experience. My goodness. What inspires you to move forward and continue when things get tough?
Um, that is a great question. I think what inspires me is knowing that whatever I'm experiencing, that I've
Mm.
overcome worse. Like I've
I
overcome
love
worse.
it.
Like,
I
yeah,
love it.
like
I
you
love it.
really think about like things that pop up. You're like, is this really the worst that I've ever dealt with? It may feel like the worst at that moment, but it really isn't when you think about everything that you've managed to overcome to get to the point where you're actually starting a business, and you're in the flow of things. Yeah, it's not the worst thing you've encountered. So I think what inspires me
Mm,
is realize getting in my head and saying, you know what, this isn't the worst thing I've been through. I've been through worse. I've overcome, and I can overcome this too. And then also, the fact of being a mom. So being a
mm,
mom, I think, puts a different fire under you,
mm.
because you have to be there for your kid, and you can't let your kids see you like fly. I mean, yes, failure is a part of the process, but you can't be failing every day. At some point, you got to pick yourself up, right? Yeah,
Yes,
because
indeed.
they're looking at everything we do. So I think being a mom is a big part of that too.
Mm,
Yeah.
So, what inspired you to move forward is you being a mother, knowing
Hmm.
that the next generation is looking right at you. And if you don't make it happen, she won't be inspired to make things happen for her life. And
Right.
that is inspirational. That is very inspirational. So to all the fathers and mothers out there that are, thinking that you're just doing it all in vain, think about the next generation behind you that's watching, because they are watching and they're going to need the inspiration. Hopefully,
Hmm.
you are that inspiration. Next question. What would you tell someone right now watching that, okay, was incarcerated or on the wrong path?
Um, it's interesting. People that are incarcerated, they kind of come out to nothing.
Mm,
And, they come out, they can't get a job because you can't have, once you check that box, that you had, a felony or, but the entrepreneurship is something that anybody can step into. And
mm,
so I think if someone's coming out and they're trying to figure out like what's next, why am I struggling? Think about what are you good at? What are your skills
mm,
and expertise, and can you build a business around it? And then how can you get
mm,
started? I just happen, for me, I just happen to build a business online, but there's offline businesses people can build too. So you're gonna
mm.
have to like think outside the box and think
Yes.
what can you do to really get your life together, because if you've allowed yourself to sink into a depression, if you've allowed yourself to get so uninspired, and you've lost motivation, you got to see you got to get yourself back out there. And when one door shuts, some maybe there's a reason that door shut. Maybe that wasn't the opportunity for you, and maybe there is something that's going on that's trying to direct you where where you're meant to be. So if someone's
Mm,
struggling right now for whatever reason, it could be, that they just are unhappy in their job. It could be, they have they were formerly incarcerated, and that keeps coming up where they can't move forward and move on. Think about what else you can do. There's other alternatives, to just kind of sitting there feeling, sorry for yourself.
mm, I'm loving it. I know asking you information based off of prior employment. I know you're big time now, so please don't be offended. Please don't be offended. Uh, so what what would you tell someone that either is abused or coming out of said abusive relationship and they're trying to get their life together? What advice would you offer them?
The first thing I would say is make sure that you are taking the necessary steps to be safe.
Hmm.
And, someone coming out of an abusive relationship may feel like, how do I build a business if I can't get online? How do I do this if I can't like be, out there like that? Because if I'm out there like that, what risk is it to me if the person that abused me sees me? And so
Mm,
people that have experienced violence and they're trying to get their lives together, the first thing you want to do is make sure if you have children, whether it's you and your children, make sure you're safe, take those necessary steps. And then, don't allow yourself to think about what you can't do, but allow yourself to think about what you can do. Because we get so
mm,
absorbed in, well, I can't do this, I can't do that, I can't do this, so I don't know what else I can do. And you got to let yourself think, what can I do? Like, what can I
yes.
do to, get out of this situation? Because if you're sitting there waiting for something to fall in your lap, it's not going to happen. Like, there's no, yeah. So you have to like find it within you to figure out what can you do to get out of your current situation. And it's a struggle for people. Some
Yes.
people still need counseling. Some people need other support systems. So make sure those things are in place because you don't want to get into a situation where you're in the thick of, building your business and then you fall apart.
Mm,
So yeah, just
mm.
make sure that you have yourself together, that, in the best way possible as you navigate picking yourself up and kind of moving into the next phase of your life.
Yes, yes, indeed. Yes, indeed. You heard it here first. You heard it here. I have nothing to add on. It is what it is. What would you tell someone that is just beginning their business or entrepreneur journey?
To get real focused, you're going to find yourself pressured and tempted to follow every single trend you see online and to follow all of the advice you see online. And a lot of the advice you hear is really around, not really around starting a business. It's around getting money fast, starting a side hustle. So, and there's nothing wrong with side hustles. The key is, what do you want to do? You may want a side hustle, and there's nothing wrong with that.
Mm-hmm.
But if you want a business, you're gonna have to start with what are you good at, and you're gonna have to build your foundation from there. And
Mm,
so, definitely look into yourself, think about your skills. What are you good at? Whether you're starting a side hustle or you're starting a business, think about what you're good at. And you can also grab my business launch planner, which you can find at bossbusinessplanner.com. Just want to
yeah.
plug that in there. And
Hold
it
on,
helps
hold
you.
on.
Uh-huh.
Bossbusinessplanner.com.
Mm-hmm.
Okay, let me see. .com. All right. I'm gonna pin that.
Thank you. And so
No
that teaches
problem.
you how to, it actually, everything that I'm talking about, that planner walks you through everything from A to Z, how to kind of figure out what you're good at, how to get that on paper and to get that laid out and to start thinking about like, what is it that you're good at? Don't follow trends and, just look into yourself and think, what are you good at? Yeah. And that's what it boils down to because so many people are, they're struggling to
Mm,
implement a business based on something that they have no clue about. Like, why are
mm,
you out there like all over the place trying to learn something new? when you can just you can leverage your own skills and monetize skills you already have.
Yes, 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 yes. Don't reinvent the wheel. Just
Right. Like,
build your own.
and just
Use
because
whatever
you
you have.
see, yeah, just because you see someone else being, achieving success doing a particular thing, you have to figure out what's going to, how you are going to be successful. What is it can you do to achieve success? Let's say someone achieves success being a social media manager. That doesn't mean you're going to waltz into that same business and get the same results. You don't know what that person's back end was. You just see
Yes,
the front end. You don't know what's
yes,
on the back end. You don't know what resources they already had in place. So it really starts with you. So that's the
yes,
advice I would
indeed.
give. Hmm.
It starts with you. It starts with you. Don't follow the trend. Be the trend. Oh, a little
Exactly.
bit. Not really. There we go. I'm
Yeah,
correct.
exactly. Yeah. Be
I
the
know
trend. Look
something.
at you. Yeah. Look within.
Exactly. Next question. What would you tell your younger self?
I would tell my younger self that I could be anything that I wanted to be if I take action.
Mm,
And we tend to like have these limiting beliefs, that we can't do something. And I wish I would have, explored entrepreneurship early on in my life
mm,
and really kind of, looked at business early on, but I didn't even have a business mindset. Strangely enough, I was like a robot going through the motions of what I thought I was supposed to do.
mm.
And it was fine to go to college and get jobs, but what else besides those jobs? You need to have a dream outside of yourself and outside of your 9 to 5. Like, what is it that you want to do? So if if I could advise my younger self, I would be like, what do you want? What do you really want? Forget about the job. Let's put the job aside for a minute. What is it that you want, and what is it that makes you happy?
Mm,
What will make you happy in this point? Like, what do you like? And we don't ask ourselves that. We get so caught up in, what we think we're supposed to do. And then, or trying to take care of other people and knowing what makes them happy, but we don't ask ourselves what makes us happy. And
mm.
so if I could talk to my younger self, I would say, get in tune with what makes you happy, get in tune with what you're good at, and don't rely on one single source of income. Because if that income source goes away, you are flopping in the wind with nothing.
Amen to that. Yes.
Yeah.
Yes, indeed. I love it.
Yeah.
I love it. I love it. And what are some of your future plans or endeavors that you would like to accomplish?
Future plans. So I am actually a big goal of mine, and I look at this as being something that's more a year out, is and I don't know who's on right now, but in case you don't know, like I lost my son in 2019,
Oh,
and he didn't have
condolences.
any children or anything. And so one of the things he was doing at the time that he passed away was he was discovering entrepreneurship. He was
Wow.
looking to, start this business. He didn't start this business with the best people, best partners, but like he was looking to start this business and he was starting to find his entrepreneurial side.
Mm,
And before he got to fully realize it, he died. So what I like to do is start a nonprofit that bears his name. And the nonprofit will focus on helping people helping young people with learning about basic financial education and entrepreneurship. So
yes.
that, when they look at, because right now people kind of stumble on entrepreneurship later on in life. It's not when we don't even learn basic, you know, financial management when we're in high school. So this program would focus on high schoolers and young adults. And,
Mm,
it's a way to really help them know, that there's other options for them, to really feel good about, their skills, develop skills. And really try and figure out what they're good at a young age instead of kind of, flopping around, trying to do what everyone else is telling them they need to do. Not everybody
Yes.
fits into that box.
Mm-hmm.
And so, this is really for those kids that are kind of like they don't know what to do, and they're thinking, they hear about, starting a business, but they don't really know what that means. And they may not have the family support to really help them along. And so this program is going to focus on pretty much all the things that we should be taught in school when it comes to financial management. What does it mean to have debt? What does it mean to have credit? What does it mean to, how do you pay your bills? How do you create your own budget and make sure you don't go in a deficit every month? And when you think
Mm.
about it, people, unless you had like somebody that really helped you through those things, you kind of learn those things on your own. Especially, how I grew up. I grew up in foster care. No one was teaching me that. And
Wow.
yeah, no one was teaching me how to manage my finances.
Mm.
And so, yeah, I spent my entire teen years in foster care. And they taught us basic life skills. But, when it came down to really managing money, that was something I learned later on. And so we really need to educate kids, in our communities about how to manage their finances, about entrepreneurship as an option, so
Mm.
they can build, have greater self-worth because they may not feel like they have what it takes to start a business or to even
Yes.
learn. Maybe you have someone that's really good. You have a lot of really good artists out there, young artists, but they don't know how to like release their
Mm-hmm.
talents to the world. And so
Yeah.
that's what this program would help young people with.
Wonderful, wonderful. First and foremost, my condolences for your loss. But what a way to turn that into something that's going to help the next generation and those
Hmm.
way after we're all long and gone. Because it's a necessity. It's a necessity. A lot of
Hmm.
people graduate high school and don't know, all right, I'll go to college. And you have this massive debt and you still don't know what it is that you want to do. And so with that program, I know it's going to help many youth to figure out what it is that they want to do and focus on that and hone in on those skills. So I can't
Right.
wait for you to launch it. Hopefully, you're not too big time to come on my podcast again, and we can talk about the launching because it's so imperative. So many kids now are noticing. What does this have to do with life? What is this theory or this
Hmm.
historical event have to do with my life being successful? And so now you're answering and solving a problem in the marketplace. And to that, I say, here to that, here to you. Wonderful, wonderful, wonderful. All right. And just to reiterate, where can we find your podcast?
You can find my podcast on wherever you get your podcast. So whether you're on Spotify, whether you enjoy watching podcasts on YouTube, you can get the video version of my podcast, The Boss Experience. You just type it into the search bar and you'll find me. I'm
Yes.
on Apple Podcasts, Spotify, Stitcher, Google, Amazon Music. And even if you just Google The Boss Experience, and it's spelled DA.
DA,
DOA.
not TAG, DA. Our English,
Yes.
our English. Yes.
Yeah, DA. If you can
Yeah,
have a debate, if you can have a debate, you can have the boss.
that's right. That's right. Because we're not children anymore. We're bosses out here in the streets.
Yeah, so
Get the pack.
DA Boss Experience Podcast. And you just
Oh,
if even if you just Google it, you'll find it. And I'm on Apple. It's about 20 and 21 different platforms I'm on right
that's right. You heard the term. Google me. Google the boss experience.
now.
She's out there, and she's out there. She's out there. Well, before we wrap it up, we have some great questions. I see a lot of great questions in the chat. And so,
Okay.
if you don't mind, we can go right to it. This is from Rosetta. She asked, what is your favorite food, singer, and color? Interesting.
Okay. I like black. Let's start with the favorite color. I like black. I like black because it's slimming. Let's keep it real.
Yes,
It's
I
slimming.
love it.
My
Favorite
favorite
color.
food is shrimp.
Shrimp.
It doesn't matter
Okay.
if it's in pasta. It doesn't matter if it's, fried shrimp. I love shrimp. And what was the other one? My favorite color. Oh, my favorite color.
Favorite food and
My
favorite singer.
favorite singer. That's a hard one, but I
That's
think it's
tough.
still Patti LaBelle. Hands down. I know I'm
Woo!
old school. Yeah,
Patty. Yeah.
Patti LaBelle. I
I
know
love
she
it. I love
screams. I know she screams, but that's my girl.
it. Patty LaBelle. Next question. Was your this is more serious one. Was your business impacted by the pandemic?
My income was. So I was still, my income definitely was because I think I lost my biggest source. Well, I think I lost my biggest source of income, as a result of the pandemic because you have to think, I was working with, small business owners. And so, and I was doing marketing for a company, and I lost the marketing part, of my income. And so I was forced to kind of, roll with the punches and pivot, right? So that's what I did. But yeah, it was impacted. Yeah, because when you think of, about the pandemic, it hit a lot of industries. So you had less people to market to, because people were kind of shut down. People were hesitant to invest in services. Why would I invest in services if I don't know if I'm going to be in business? I got to see how this whole thing kind of blows over because we had never experienced that before. So people were hesitant about investing in, a consultant or investing in someone to help them with their business if they don't know if they're going to be in business. But yeah, I lost a big chunk of income as a result of the pandemic.
Mm, okay, all right. So she definitely was impacted by the pandemic, but because she's a boss, she's still here. She's still here. Next question is, how do you overcome or move past difficult situations?
Um, sometimes I give a good cry first before
Mm,
before I start strategizing
ain't
about what I'm
nothing
going to
wrong with that.
do because things happen and we have to allow ourselves to feel what's happening. And we may need to give ourselves a good cry. We may need to yell, scream, do some little scream therapy, punch a few things. As long as
Hey,
you don't punch people. But
don't punch me.
when I say punch some things, maybe punch a pillow, maybe punch your mattress, don't hurt yourself, but allow yourself to feel is what I'm getting at. Feel
Mm,
what's happening in your life. Feel what's going on. Yell, scream, do whatever, and let that out. Let that energy out. And then once you do that, then you can start kind of thinking about what exactly is happening in this
mm,
situation. What exactly is going on? Because sometimes when we start breaking things down and we think about it, we're only thinking about the problem. We're not thinking about the solutions. We're only thinking about how we can't solve this problem. We're not thinking about what kind of solutions can we come up with.
yes, yes, yes.
Yeah.
Key thing you said there, allow yourself to feel. I mean, there's
Mm-hmm.
so many coping mechanisms that numb you, temporarily. But then when you wake up from the high or whatever it is, you still have to feel. And instead of running from that feeling, allow yourself. I love it. I love it. I love it.
Mm-hmm.
Great answers. Great answers. Um, Next question. What do you do for fun?
Mm, that's a great question. I've been kind of locked in for the last few years because and I don't know who's from New York City, but New York City, we were just talking about this today. It's scary right now.
Mm,
Riding the trains and getting out and about. So, but
mm,
what I like to do for fun is I enjoy finding solitude somewhere, like the beach. I live on Staten Island right now, so there is a lot of park life. Uh, I
nice.
enjoy taking long walks. There is a beach. I wouldn't put my feet in the water, but there is a beach. You can walk peacefully alongside. here on Staten Island. And
I understand. I understand.
yeah, but I
Fighting Eagles. It
really,
makes sense. Yep.
yeah, and I love, I really enjoy like, trips and amusement parks and things like that. I really enjoy that. And I hope to be able to get back to that. It's my goal to get my daughter to Disney World. I've been to Disneyland multiple times, but I've never been to Disney World. We've
Same.
been to Universal Studios. So I think those are the kind of things I like, and I love getting on those rides. I'm the type of person that wants to get on everything. I want to get on everything and experience everything. So that's what I like doing for fun, getting out
Nice.
there, doing things that make you laugh, taking those trips, getting out there and just going and doing and enjoying life.
Nice. Yes. Yes. So just enjoying life and experiencing experiencing life, experiencing the nature. All right. Next question. Were there times when you wanted to give up or settle for less? Good questions.
All the time. So,
Yeah.
and I think that the kind of like a difficult, uh, one difficult thing that entrepreneurs experience when you talk about challenges that they face is like what to price their stuff. And so I
Mm.
remember I learned the hard way that I wasn't pricing my services high enough. I took on this
Mm.
client and I underestimated. This was like early on in my entrepreneur um, career. This was when I was still doing like websites and other stuff. And I took on this client job and I totally underbid myself. I underestimated what it would take, the time it would take to actually complete the job. And I remember, um, working on this project and I was in tears because
Mm.
I actually started breaking down crying. But so to go back to that question about how do kind of bring yourself out of the rut, I was like, oh my God, I underpriced myself so bad. I was crying looking at my screen because
Mm.
I'm like, this is so much work and I didn't charge enough money. So that's a big mistake that entrepreneurs make. They don't look into, um, how to really structure their services and their pricing in a way that makes sense, and they end up underpricing themselves and working for pennies. And the
Mm.
reality, because they're afraid to lose the sale, and that was what I was. I was afraid to lose the sale, but at the
Ouch.
end of the day, if that sale is not going to push you forward in any way, and it's not going to like help you be in business and stay in business and invest back in your business, or, what's the point? You don't
Mm.
want every client. Some clients you just need to,
True.
send them on their merry way. And this
Mm.
was one of those clients. And so I did not charge enough. I did not charge enough. And I remember, just having a breakdown at the screen. But at the end of the day, the bottom line is I had to finish the job
Mm-hmm.
regardless of if I was, didn't charge enough. That's my fault. That's not the client's fault.
Yeah.
And it was a learning lesson for me.
Yes.
It was
Yes.
you got to chalk some things up as a learning lesson. And
Mm.
I knew from then on that, I better really evaluate the job and really kind of look at what it takes to get the job done so that
Mm.
I don't ever, ever, ever end up in that position again.
Amen. Amen to that. I'm literally telling myself ouch because sometimes you underprice yourself because they're a friend. You know them for so long. You don't want to be that guy. No, you are that person. You are that guy. You are that girl. Charge yourself the way it's supposed to be charged. So
You're in business, or you can't be in business if you're not charging your worth and your value. And
there you
you don't
go.
want to undervalue yourself. You have skills and you want to act as such. So,
Hmm.
definitely charge your worth.
Yes, indeed. Yes, indeed. Uh, this one comes from Kareem. Spit a quick 16.
What? I don't know what that means.
16 bars. 16 bars, a freestyle, if you will. Do
I
you
wish
have
I could. I have no rapping
allegedly
ability
no rapping skills?
whatsoever.
Kareem, a sitcom that's a wrong episode of sitcom. We're wrong.
I think she tried to get me back.
I know she's trying.
She tried to get me back.
Yes, she did. Yes, she did.
Yeah.
It almost worked. She said, "Excuse me."
I'm like, I have no art. That and I am not artistic in that way.
And that comes from just knowing your lane, knowing what you can and cannot do.
Yeah,
It's not a business.
I am not a musician. I'm not a rapper.
Okay, Rosetta says a poem. Is there a poem that you have in mind?
Not off the top of my head. I
Not
mean,
off the
there's
dome.
that I could recite now.
Okay.
Let me think. Is there? Hmm. I was trying to think of a quote I could recite, but nothing that comes to mind at the moment.
Not a problem. Not a problem. And that's all right. That's all right. One of the last questions from the chat. How do you officially and legally turn a side hustle into a business? Good question.
That is a good question. I think with whatever the side hustle is you're doing, you need to examine, what the potential is for the side hustle
Mm,
to become something bigger. And you need to plan out your business and see, if it's, let's say a lot of people are doing e-commerce on the side, or, some people are selling things offline on the side. And so you have to think, is there a demand for whatever it is that you're selling? And, what will it take to grow this into a business? What are you selling? I don't know if the
Um,
person is still on.
yeah, I don't think they I think it was a general question, but
Okay.
it was
Yeah.
Kareem who asked.
Okay. So yeah. So to take your side hustle into a business, you have to look at, can this be marketable as a, full-time business? What is the revenue potential? What is is there an interest for what I'm selling? Do I need to repackage it for it to be more, to have more appeal? What is it really, is this product going to fare well, as, out selling to people I don't know? Because I think the thing is with a side hustle, depending on what you sell, a lot of people end up selling to people that they kind of know or people in their circle. And true business, something that could be a full-time business, is something that you have to be able to market and sell in to people you don't know, people that don't know you. So it's a whole strategy and a whole process in terms of how you market, how you repackage, and you have to do your market research. So,
Mm,
what may be profitable as a side hustle may not be profitable, if you try and scale it to something larger. And people need to really examine their side hustles, because a lot of people are doing like, three, five, seven different hustles. And how much money can you be making doing all that?
mm,
You're like going in different directions, you know, trying to, run these side hustles. Like, what is the most profitable side hustle you can get going right now, and focus your energy on that. And then when you get to the point of trying to build it out and seeing if it can be a business, really do your market research and see, can this be really profitable? Am I really making money now in this? Because if you're not making money as a side hustle, you know, you're more than likely not going to make money if you try and turn it into a business. So, depending on what you're selling, there's several different factors, but a key thing is market research, plan out your business, really see what's happening in that industry that you're trying to break into,
mm,
and see if you have something that can be sold as is, or does it need to be repackaged in some way, and go from there.
mm, mm. Great answer. Great answer. And I think we have one more from Rosetta. How do you personally stand out from other strategists?
I think I stand out because um, I know who I'm talking to when I'm
Mm,
online. like, sometimes people come online and they want to talk to everyone. They think everyone is their target market,
Mm,
and everyone is not your target market.
mm,
You have to know who you're talking to. And so I'm talking to a very specific group of people when I'm talking. I'm not going to be everyone's business strategist. That's just
nope.
not, yeah, I'm just not. Everybody is not my target audience, and everyone is not my ideal customer. So I have a very specific group of people that I'm speaking to when I'm online. And I think that's how you stand out. And I try
Mm,
and speak to those pain points that they're experiencing. And I try and position myself as the solution. So I think
mm,
that's how I stand out. Yeah.
mm, mm. Wonderful, wonderful answer. Listen, go right now, follow her on Instagram, follow her podcast, The Boss Experience. You will enjoy it. It's informative. It heals and fixes the whole boss, not just the business aspect, but the whole boss. So follow her. Thank you for allowing me to interview. I truly do appreciate it.
Thank
And
you.
I mean, hopefully I'm big enough to come on your podcast. Maybe I need to get more followers. That's fine. I'll work my way.
No,
I'll work my way. It's all good. It's all good. But before we
and I
leave,
don't, wait a minute, I don't base my guests on followers. It's about what can you contribute.
no
So,
problem.
yeah,
Well, I'm
yeah.
gonna get to work. Okay, I'm gonna get to work, and you'll notice me. You'll notice me. I'm telling you, you'll notice. Uh, so last but not least, I just wanted you to drop a word of inspiration and motivation for those that are watching. Please take us away.
Determination. So stay
Mm,
determined and don't let failures, don't let missteps, don't let, you know, things happen in your life that takes you out of the game.
mm,
There's going to be times, I mentioned my son died. He died while I was in business, and I had to figure out, how I was going to get back, but I did. And,
mm,
there's things that will happen in our lives that will, totally take us by surprise. They're going to knock us off. They're going to knock us down. There's some things that are going to come and just knock us down. It's just a part of life. And you have to figure out, like, how am I going to, regroup? Do I need to pivot? What do I need to do to get back out there and to be focused once again? But stay determined. Keep your eye on the prize, keep your eye on your dream, keep your eye on whatever it is that you want to accomplish, and stay determined.
mm. Stay determined. Stay determined. Listen, you heard it here first. The boss experiences. She has spoken. It's a mic drop. So let that settle. Let that simmer. She has spoken. But I just want to, before you go, because I know you have many things to do, but before you go anywhere, it is Women's History Month. I
Mm.
should have had you on sooner. And we talk about everyone, the Michelle Obamas of the world, the Beyoncés, the Cardi B's, the justices of, I forget the lady's name. So many people we celebrate in Women's History Month. Well, today I want to celebrate you for
Oh,
being the
thank you.
inspiration that you are. Yes,
Thank
yes,
you.
no one else, you. From coming from where you come from, you touched on some things I didn't ask because I didn't know if you were ready for those answers. But those questions. But you've come a mighty long way.
Hmm.
And what I love to do, I've heard this term before. I love to give people their flowers. I don't want to wait till something happens for you to get your flowers. No, you get your flowers today. So here's to you for being an inspiration, someone that is business minded and strategic. Because so many people have the business acumen or the drive, but you're not strategic. You don't have the strategy. So thank you for coming on here and blessing us with strategy, with your information, with who you are. You are an inspiration. So here to you, Michelle Davis. Everybody raise your red cups, throw it up in the air, wave it like you just don't care, and have a sip for Michelle Davis being great. Here.
Thank you.
No problem. No problem. Is there anything else that you would like to add for the people at home that are watching?
No, just make sure you pick up the Boss Business Planner. this way you get an A to Z guide to plan out your business, and you are able to really think about and get in tune with what you're good at. You know, tease out those skills and those experiences, because it's not, you could end up with a brain dump of like all these things you've done and you don't know how to put it together. I take you step by step in the Boss Business Planner. And then also you can check out my podcast. That's another way to stay connected with me. Follow me on social media, Michele with 1L, Davis, NYC. And yeah, so that is how, I'd love for people to reach out and connect with me. And let's see how we can work together. Let me see how I can help you strategize your business.
Yes, indeed. Yes, indeed. I definitely will be. I don't know how I'm gonna make it a point. I'm gonna make an appointment somewhere, some way, somehow. Um, you showed a T-shirt. Where can we get your T-shirts at? Where can you get a T-shirt?
You can get the t-shirt at my merch shop for the podcast. Is at The Boss Experience, DABOSSEXPERIENCE.com.
Yes,
As
indeed. Yes,
well
indeed.
as,
All of those.
your boss mug, and um, there's also some planners in there. You'll find the
Nice.
Boss Business Planner in there. But yeah, this is, yeah, and as you can see, boss is not just a four-letter word. It's all of the things that are in these letters that I spell
Mm,
out.
okay.
Gratitude, resilience,
I'm gonna get me one. I'm gonna wear it to the gym. I'm the boss. Got to work out. Remind
dedication.
myself I'm the
Yeah.
boss.
Yes.
Oh my goodness.
Yeah.
Well, thank you for joining us. Everybody at home, I hope that you are inspired. Go get it so you can be even more than a conqueror and conquer your own mind. But most importantly, be like Michele Davis, the true boss experience. Have a good one. God bless. See you later. Bye.
Bye.